good to see you back. I was talking bad about you earlier.
Uh,
Just kidding. I was telling people, if they just attended for gaining confidence, learning how to speak up, learning how to talk to people, that itself is a benefit of this club.
yeah. So my aim was to talk about things that I wish people had talked about.
I know, I know. So are we live now? Same
Yes,
side.
we are live.
Fabulous, fantastic. So let me start by. Is the meeting getting recorded on Zoom? Thank you so much, guys. So let me tell everybody what was the purpose of this book club initially. So we have two book clubs, and we created the first one and then the second one. And the whole idea was pretty simple. Nothing fancy, nothing drama, no drama. We said we'll create a space for members. We will have a lot of materials at a house in the public domain, and we will treat this group as a study group, a knowledge exchange group. And we said we especially want to inspire confidence in the freshers, because a lot of freshers, they are unaware of who to go to, where to seek guidance from, and so on and so forth. So we said we should create a group where there'll be weekly discussions or bi-weekly discussions or monthly discussions. uh, and books were just the idea of, like, getting close to each other. So we said we'll choose a book of the month or book of the week or book of, like, uh, the quarter or whatever, and we will discuss certain points of good books, because there are a lot of good books that are being written in India and abroad. So also we are going to welcome the authors, because we have a lot of people who have written books in the past, and they want to come and share about the the books that they've written. So we said we will respect people, we will engage actively, we'll stay on topic, we'll provide constructive feedback, we will not do self promotion. So we wrote a lot of rules and regulations around this. But the whole idea was that we need to get together as a team, and the library houses a lot of materials. So why don't we um, check out what the members are liking, what do they need more of, what do they want less of, and we also had a group on business communication. So the business communication group was meant for people who felt that they are, they don't, they know the topic or they know the subject pretty well, but they're not able to speak in public. So the library group was going to act as a uh, forum, so that they can come together, they can speak about a non-IT topic or an IT topic or whatever topic they want to, and we'll keep discussing interesting topics every month, and people can understand, people can know how to speak in public, how to interact with other people. So that be very helpful for people. That was a great demand from a lot of people. So, having said that, we chose Vaishnavi Murali Krishnan as the leader for the book club. And Vaishnavi is an amazing person, just amazing, mind blowing, fabulous. So, we have Vaishnavi here. So, today, instead of choosing a book, a particular book, usually what we do is we ask people if they have read any book, come and share about the book, briefly talk about what the book is about, who's the author, what have they learned from it. So anybody could have read any kind of a book. So usually we discuss that, but in between we talk about different topics. So Vaishnavi has come up with a great topic today, and she's going to uh, uh, discuss the topic today. And the idea is to have group discussion, communication, understanding each other, and have everybody's inputs. So over to Vaishnavi, who will explain us what the topic is about today, and let's see where we go. Because every day is magic. We'll figure out where we go from here. Vaishnavi.
Thank you, Ram. Thank you for introducing me. I'm Vaishnavi Murali Krishnan. I am a data analyst at Arcadia. I'm based in Tamil Nadu. So Today's topic will be on dealing with failures and setbacks, which is not often talked about on social media or anywhere in the public as it should be talked about. And that's why I thought let's talk about this, and it will be based on my personal experience because that's how I've always felt I can relate with the audience and new members. So thank you for tuning in today and being present here. I am looking forward to the discussions. As in, this is going to be a discussion. You can stop me anywhere and bring your views, and you can talk about things that you relate to. And it's going to be a discussion. It's not just me orating a 1,500 words. So that's how this is going to work. Can we get into it? Everyone set?
Yes, ma'am. Let's go ahead.
Yeah. So I had sent out the agenda and I will be following that. The first was expectations versus reality, and I will just get right into the topic. I'm not going to be introduced. We've all had failures, we've all had setbacks, and by failures and setback, I don't just mean the tangible amounts of failures. Like I failed this, I did not pass an exam, I didn't crack an interview. Those are not failures. Failures will also mean, not being able to stick to a goal or being in a place where you wish you had been. So all these things are also failures, and I believe that we often leave this part out when we talk about failures. We are always talking about the tangible outcomes of things that can be stated on a paper or when you're talking to someone. You can just say, I've failed 19 interviews or I've failed these many exams. I failed to pass this exam on these many attempts. So that's how we always we try to quantify failures, and I think that is wrong because failures can mean uh, different for different people. So we forget to address the smaller failures, and it might come off as a wrong thing to call everything a failure. But the failure that I'm trying to mean is are the setbacks or things that you feel like you're not enough, you're not prepared enough, or you're not smart enough to do. There are things that will happen that will make you feel like that. So the first area that I needed to address here was expectations versus reality. And when I talk about it, I'm going to be talking about it from my experience. But first, I would like to bring forth my opinion on this. And that being, people are going to disagree with me for this. And just stick with me for a bit. I'll explain this. We often romanticize success. We romanticize success on a large scale. While I agree with everyone that success should be romanticized so that it is celebrated, I think we are getting off the wrong foot here. Romanticizing and celebrating success are different things. So, what I have observed when I was trying to chase this success, and this is strictly going to be in the context of me getting a college placement or a corporate job, promotions, interviews, and those in those settings. And when people often talk about these success, they romanticize it. They talk about it like people have worked hard, people have suffered, people are from different backgrounds. Some are in the most disadvantaged background, some are from sophisticated background. There are all kinds of success, and when people talk about it, I can only hear stories where people have worked out hard in college and now 10 years later they are in a position in a very high position with so much power, or they will state their salary in LPA, and we get all these numbers, but what it fails to address are those little success that led to this huge big extravagant showcase of success. So these people, as a student, as I can call myself young, I'm 23. So for someone from my age, when I see those success stories on LinkedIn, which is what I use most, and maybe on YouTube or on other social media, I can only see someone who's 10 years older than me, or 15 years older than me, or people with industry experience of over 5 years, people in senior positions, people, those people, they post about their success, and for them, the success means being in a well settled phase of their life. Like they have finished up all their responsibilities. They don't have anything big they want to look forward, or they don't have to have big risks coming up. So I can only see people in those age groups or experience groups. And that is not wrong. It is absolutely great to be celebrating your success at every age. What I fail to see, what I think I should have seen, is those people celebrating their earlier success, or at least talking about it in the present, their past success. And when I see those success stories that are, blown up, I think I miss when they have made those small efforts that had amounted to them being in this place. Meaning, when I was studying, when I started up studying, I would study a month's worth of material in just under a week. This is not to brag, this is an unhealthy thing. I would do that because I would often compare myself to those success stories, people who have industry experience, people who are in seniority positions. And I would compare myself to them, and I would feel incompetent. I would feel low about myself, like I have not done enough. I would put that pressure on myself. If people had talked about their success at early age, if more people talked about success, the small success, even completing an assignment, a college assignment, and that itself could be an achievement. People don't talk about it enough. If people had talked about it enough, maybe I would feel that I've done enough for this week and I should not put more pressure on myself. And there was always this feeling of being not enough, or studying not enough. And these all sprouted from me comparing myself to those big industry experts. And that is not the reality. And that our expectations should not be matched with others. And when you do match it, you have to match it with someone of your age, or people in your class, or people who you work with, people who you share a desk with. That's how you should be comparing success. And I think we often romanticize success as from those uh, fan companies and people who have senior positions. I was very much attracted to that, and my end goal was wrong, totally wrong. My end goal was to become one of those people who worked at Microsoft, or call myself a Google employee. And those were unrealistic expectations. I mean, it is good to have motivations. That is absolutely fine. I agree with that. I don't call that wrong. And I think that should not be my end goal. My end goals should be broken into shorter goals, and we should focus on the short-term goals that would maybe result in those larger goals being achieved. In that sense, if someone had told me that, Vaishnavi, you have done enough for this month for you to be a well reputed data scientist in 10 years, and maybe, I don't know, leading a project or something in a big company, I would have felt content with my work that week. But there was no one telling me that this amount of work that you've done is the right amount of work, and you don't need to worry about matching it with people older than you, or people with huge successes. And you, Arun,
No, no, I'm good. I'm good. Keep going.
yeah. So there was no one to tell me that, and I often feel like, no, it's not this is not important. What you're doing is not important. No, how many hours you dedicate is not important. Where is the output? Where are the results? And this was in my first year of post graduation, and there was no way I would be able to see the results of my education or my hard work for another year or so. It took me 1.5 years after finishing my first year to actually get a job and get the recognition that I wanted. But even at the even when I had this 1 year of college education left, I still felt like I was getting nowhere. But I had finished my post graduation, I was doing an internship, and none of that mattered because no, this is not how it's supposed to be. And that was running in my mind all along because I was pushed. No, I'm not blaming anyone, but I was pushed to a state where I felt it's not enough. You have to work hard, work hard. So that is what I needed to emphasize on this expectations versus reality. The reality is people forget to celebrate the small success and often romanticize the huge success, the results of years of hard work. And when they do that, we forget to celebrate the small achievements, and we also don't recognize our efforts. And of course, there would be no one else to recognize our own efforts, and just get that just goes forgotten. So the reality is not that people have struggled and they've also experienced many milestones in their life before getting to the place where they are right now. And that is what I wanted to talk about in this expectations versus reality. And if you wanted to share something about this in this area, you're absolutely welcome to.
Yeah, actually, I'll give it a funny twist because we are having a light conversation with friends. Sometimes you set a goal to become a Bollywood star. A lot of people, we want to become Shah Rukh Khan, Salman Khan, Tiger Shroff, or Allu Arjun from Pushpa. Uh, you know, but we think that it will come when a director casts us and they directly propel me into being a star. But maybe the realistic goal is to do a dance routine at your cousin's wedding. So even if you're doing that, you need not worry about big goals. Set a goal that's like realistic, and that might help you. When you talk about managing expectations, a lot of us, when our mom in our homes cook, let's say she cooks a biryani or she cooks a wonderful dish that and we are younger people, and we say, oh my god, I hope that I'm able to cook a biryani like my mom, or something as a dosa or something like my mom. But then when we try it for the first time, it might even end up looking like a basic khichdi. So we need not worry about big goals. And to your point, if we there are expectations, there's reality. So if we learn how to manage the expectations, we may not be perfect. Today the problem, as you rightly pointed out, we look at Instagram of like people who are successful and we think, oh my god, at the age of 26 he did this, at the age of 29 he did this, he's a rock star, he's this and that. But we need not worry too much about it. I mean, we need to learn how to deal with discrepancies. So if I'm planning a trip to Goa, I was in Pune, and if I'm going to Goa with my friends, and a lot of people cancel at the last minute, I don't know what to do. And I am frustrated because I had the expectations, and I feel sad. But even if those friends gather and say, "Hey, let's not go there. Let's go and we end up in a local chai shop or a local Maggie joint." We need to learn how to manage expectations, realistic expectations, and enjoy that too. So that those are the few points that come to my mind, Vaishnavi, to your first point, managing expectations, setting realistic expectations, because we need not be perfect right from the start. Back to you.
Thank you. Actually, that's a great segue into my next topic, which is adaptability. So, when you fail to make it to Goa, you make it to the nearby joint. And the whole point of the trip would have been to be with your friends. And if it's somewhere near, and you should be able to adapt to that and not uh, obsess over the first plan being a failure. And you should not even call that a failure. So, that is my next point, adaptability. So I would like to bring my friend as an example here, and she wanted to be in academics. She wanted to do a straight BSc, MSc, PhD, and be a lecturer or teacher somewhere. And she couldn't do that because she wanted to financially support her parents, and she took up a professional course, and she did excellent. She's really smart. She did excellent. And what I could learn from her is she never regretted her decisions. And it is also something that I believe in. Do not regret your decisions. Whenever you decide on something, you always you make those decisions based on what you know at that point in time, what you're aware of, what your knowledge is, what your skills are in that particular age, in that particular setting or situations. Always trust your decisions, always trust your competence, and do not regret your decisions, because once you start regretting your decisions, you will not be able to adapt to anything else. You will always be fixated on that one aspect of your life where things didn't go as planned. If that happened, that will be a pattern following, where you'll make decisions and things might not work out, and you will obsess over those things not happening according to your plan, and you will not be able to make any more decisions confidently. It takes a hit on your confidence. When you practice adaptability, it's a mindset. Of course, it takes a long time to practice adaptability and be flexible, because as a society, we are often conditioned to stick to plans and make these ambitious plans and goals and dream big. Well, that is all good things to do. We often forget that life doesn't happen the way we planned. So when you plan to become a data scientist, you might end up a data analyst, or a full stack developer, or you might find interest in a different programming language altogether. You might be in game development. So things change, and you should not obsess over those um, things. Things when things go wrong, you should not be obsessing over it. And it is important to practice adaptability no matter at what age, because at every age you would be hit with surprises in your face. And when those surprises come, it should not be a shock to you. You should you should face it with a smile. I know this gets philosophical, but this is something I've learned. And you don't always have to owe, you don't owe anything to the people you shared your goals with, because that was my fear when I couldn't choose physics. I chose physics at the end, but when there was a time where it felt like I couldn't do physics, I was scared about what people might say or what people might think when I promised something, when I told everyone that I'm going to become something, and then I couldn't. But I was so scared that I would be perceived as a failure or someone weak, and no one should do that because it is very unhealthy. And the healthiest thing and the most positive thing is to adapt to yourself and not try to match the expectations or the promises that you've made to others. You don't owe anything to anyone. You're taking a decision, you're deciding something based on your skills, your knowledge, your power. And sometimes it is completely arbitrary. Even if it's random, it's completely okay. You don't have to always make a carefully planned decision. It is completely okay to choose something at random, as long as it doesn't have severe consequences. You should of course plan for the results of your actions, but it is, yeah, Arun.
No, you remind me of, resilience is like dealing with Indian traffic. So whenever I come to India from US, I'm driving in New Delhi or driving in Bangalore, I think of resilience as dealing with Indian traffic. So no matter how many times, I can get stuck in traffic, but I know from inside that I need to keep moving forward. So I think building resilience in a simple word is about keep moving forward. And you talked about adaptability. Adaptability, let's say I'm trying to adapt to a new job or a new environment. It's like somebody, I go to a Chinese restaurant and somebody wants me to eat with chopsticks. And I have a lifetime of using my hands. And I'm trying to learn how to eat with chopsticks. That's like adaptability. So I know I'm doing fun examples is because we have fun audience, but it's I mean we have to build resilience, we have to build adaptability, and we have to learn from our setbacks, because every time every I mean each one of us has failed in something or the other during our life. We have failed in school, we have failed in college, we have failed in a project, we have failed in getting what we wanted. But every time we fail, we need to think of it as, I mean, it's how I say it. Every time I fail, I think of it as a good story to tell my friends over a cup of tea or coffee, and hopefully they learn something from it. They don't do the same mistakes, or they I mean they have something to take away. So I think we have to have a space that we hold for the people. For example, I am holding the space for Vaishnavi, where Vaishnavi feels comfortable to share with me what's on her mind. Akriti is able to share with me what's on her mind. Prem Sai is able to do that, and we are holding space for each other, where we learn from each other's setbacks and move forward. So I think you mentioned a good point about resilience and adaptability.
Yeah,
Back
of
to you.
course. Yeah. So that brings to my next topic of discussion, support systems. I understand, I completely relate when people say they don't have a support system. Usually, this happens when both your parents are working, and at a young age, when your parents are working, you will not have, if you don't have siblings, it would be very hard to relate to anyone or share your stuff with. And people should be able to open up to their colleagues, their peers, and even seek out professional help, and that should be normalized. There are people talking about it, and I just wanted to mention how much it is important. When you're suffering, you need to acknowledge that you're suffering, or if you're in a very difficult position, it is very important to acknowledge that it's okay. You have to tell yourself it's okay, Vaishnavi, you're not doing well, you're not giving your full potential, and that is not because you cannot give your full potential, or if that's your level of potential at all. It's because you're not in a position mentally well, or you have other disturbances and distractions that is keeping you from exhibiting your full potential. Every individual must learn how to recognize oneself when they are suffering. Like, we all go through different difficult things, and it is very important to acknowledge that you're going through a difficult time and that is stopping you from doing what you're doing, because we often associate that to with being a failure. Like, why am I not able to complete this task? Because I'm not enough. I'm just weak. I'm a failure. So we get all these negative thoughts, but we wouldn't get these thoughts if we adapted and learned to deal with our feelings first, which is very important, to acknowledge your feelings, your mental health, even when you're 30 or 40 or 50, it doesn't matter. Even when you're in your teenage, we are not taught to acknowledge your feelings at school, but I think it is very important to for that to be taught at a very young age, so that it is carried over throughout your life. People should pay attention to how they are feeling. Emotions are also valid.
Vaishnavi, I always feel like, I always say friends are like my favorite Bollywood songs. They can uplift your spirits, they can make everything better. So let's say I'm having a bad day and I've had a bad experience with something. I can pick up the phone, talk to Prem Sai, talk to you, talk to Kriti, talk to Sanjay. And, you know, once you share, you feel lighter and better at times. When we build the support systems, it's like organizing a family wedding. Everything can be chaotic. I mean, building a support system does not mean that everything is going to go fine. It can be chaotic, but it's worth it in the end, just like a family wedding. When you think of utilizing resources, I mean, you can think of your mentors as your personal cricket coach. So coaches and mentors can help you navigate. It doesn't mean that you will never be bowled out. You can sometimes be bowled out, but at least you have taken the first step to share it with others. We see a lot of people in the COE who are who say that, sir, I'm not able to communicate well. I have a problem with communication. I have a problem with resume. I have a problem with LinkedIn. I have a problem with X, Y, or Z. But these are the very people who'll keep hoarding books, hoarding knowledge, but they won't come forward to attend a meeting when they're invited to forums where we can help them either in public or in private. So I totally respect your point about the about building a support system, and COE is a very big support system we have.
Yeah, and to emphasize on that factor, your support system does not always need to be your family members. Because honestly speaking, my family is not my big support system. They have provided for me. I'm grateful for everything that they did, but I cannot call them my support system. My friends are my support system because I have friends. I'm super lucky. I just have three friends who I'm very close with, but still, that's a huge thing. And they have supported me. They offer me advices. I offer them advices, and even if our advices are not worth it and not, worldly, we still talk about shit. Sorry, excuse me. We still talk about all the things that we hate. We still talk about all the things that we love. And we get together and we don't often meet. So these expectations about friends being, you have to have one best friend who you share everything with, or one best friend that you hang out with, or you should always be surrounded with a group of friends in order for them to support you. That is not true at all. I have people. I have one with one friend. I share about my music interests. With other friend, I talk about book, and with someone else, I talk about movies. So your interests don't need to be shared with one specific person, or you don't also have to appear in public with a group of friends. Those are all societal expectations that no one should adhere to. You should be comfortable with the person you are or the people you are with, and that is all that matters. That is what having a support system is.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Cool.
And coming to the final area of discussion is personal growth. I know people have talked about this a lot, but it only feels fair to address this in this linearity of topics. Personal growth, of course, it looks different for different people, and I think we are not comparing it in the right way with others. Comparing is, people say that you should not compare yourself with others, which is true, but sometimes you need to have some kind of an anchor or a perspective. So if I chose someone as my mentor who's 10 years older than me, but still I would go to them for advice, and I would compare to them, but not at the place where they are right now, but at the place they were 10 years ago. I get you. I think you get my point about the phase of comparison that you should do. It is not with someone who's with their present set of achievements or their qualifications. Maybe it should be at the level of where they were, where they started from, and where you started from. Always inculcate and factor in those aspects and quality of life that they led, and the advantages that they had when they were studying, the benefits that I have. The quality of life differs. There are a lot of things, but if you, on a strictly professional level, if you were to compare yourself with someone, if I were to compare myself with Arun, at the age and experience that he is now, and at the age and experience that I am now, that will not work out. Even with Prem or Kriti,
Very
I
true.
cannot compare myself with them. And what I can compare with myself is what they were doing at my age, and what are with the resources that they had, they were achieving something at their age, in their 20s, early 20s, or in their teenagers. And I could only compare myself to that and count my blessings and factor in all the resources and help that I have right now. And also, do not forget to account for your mental health. Always keep that in check. And that is how I want people. That is what I want people to take away from this meeting. Is that failure is not conventional. People fail so badly. People also fail so gracefully. People fail in different ways. And success is also not the huge extravagant thing that you're expecting. People glorify success. And if you're going to compare your success with someone else, always bring down others' success by 10 times and see what they're actually doing and what they did to get there, how many milestones they've had to hit before hitting the huge milestone. So that is how you should view success and failure, and that is how you should compare yourself to every expert or leader that you see. Yeah, and that concludes my topics of discussions, and it is open for anyone to share their views. We could have a discussion on that as well.
In a way, when I think about personal growth, I think about self reflection, like you point out. So I engage in introspection. I engage in a regular self-reflection to understand my strengths, understand my weaknesses. Sometimes when I feel like writing, I try to write down. It does not happen every day because not every day I'm so focused. But you know, when I have success or failures, I write down. I journal things. I write down. Here's a remarkable person I met, or here's a. I try to think about setting new goals after experiencing a setback. I try to write down about or think about at least how do I have new goals, how do I track my progress, all those things. It's to my mind, it's almost like looking yourself in a mirror. Some days I see a person in the mirror who is excited about life, and other days, I honestly feel that some days I see a hero. Oh my God, this fellow has achieved a lot. I'm young and I've done a data science and I've done data engineering and I'm doing so well. Some days when I look at a mirror, I see a tired soul. I'm like, oh, I'm done with this. I don't want to work for this company. I don't want to talk to people. I like to hide in my closet and I'm done with people. So personal growth is a big topic where you look at yourself in a mirror after a long day, and regardless of whether you're a hero or you consider yourself a tired soul, how do you? It's about how do you baseline where you are, and what can you take forward? How you can grow from there? How you can have because learning is lifelong, right? I mean, you have there's always something new to. If you go to a shop where they sell a lot of candies or a mithai shop, there's always something new and exciting to try. You go to movies, there's always something new and exciting to try. So I guess that's pretty important. One of the topics you had was about cultural expectations. I think it was one of the initial topics you wrote in your agenda. A lot of times we are having some expectations and pressures from society. My father wants something out of me. My mom wants something out of me. My so and so loved one wants something out of me. So they're always there. People like we say in Hindi mein, wo char log, those four people, they're always commenting something or the other. Some aunties, some uncles, and then we also have we come from a cultural background. Like you come from Chennai, I come from Delhi, somebody else comes from Gujarat, and somebody comes from abroad. We always have the challenge of when we're working for the bigger group, we have a challenge of balancing cultural expectations. It's like it's almost like trying to balance or please both your dad who's strict and mom who's cool at the same time. So um, it is you have to balance your aspirations that you have. Um, what will bring you personal happiness versus what is societal expectations. So we all go through this stuff, and I think uh, keeping a balance is a hard thing. The most important point is not to get worried, not to get depressed about everybody else's expectations. We need to set the personal boundaries to protect our mental and emotional well-being. Because a lot of times I might see, I'm just trying to struggle for a job. Somebody else has got their dream job. They're making money, and I keep comparing myself to another person. I don't think that is very helpful. So personal fulfillment rather than seeking societal approval is very, very important to your point.
Yeah.
Having said that, I am back to you.
I wanted to share something now that you addressed it. Um, so this meeting, this was supposed to happen in the month of September because we have this movie and I couldn't do it. I couldn't schedule. I couldn't even bring myself because to schedule this because I was having a terrible month last month. Personally, it
Mm,
was very hard for me, and I knew that I have to do this. I made a commitment, and I have to stick to it. I'm not trying to patronize this, but
mm.
patronize the COE. I have my post graduation convocation on the 15th, and I was
Wow.
yeah, that's celebration. I know, but hear me out. And when September happened, I wasn't feeling great at all. And while I had planned my outfit, I was planning the day, whole day for the convocation and everything. It felt good. It went good, and things happened that affected me personally. And the convocation wasn't at all that was the last thing I wanted to do because I didn't look good. I was feeling so down. But
Mm,
personally, more than the convocation being one of the things in October, me having completed this session today
mm,
was a success for myself because
mm.
I brought myself to do this, and I like to believe that I did a pretty good job because I was honestly not feeling great, but I wanted to. This is a commitment I made, and that's why I chose this topic. Because I wasn't planning on sharing this also, but since you brought up how personal growth differs and everything, I had to bring this up.
Wow, that's cool. Well, and that has happened to me, Vaishnavi, a lot of times. Some days I'm totally prepared for the session. I'm a great speaker. I can speak at length about any short topic or any big topic at any given time. But there are days when you don't, uh, there's a there's a set day on the schedule for delivering something, and I'm like, my mind goes totally blank. I don't even want to speak to any other soul. I'm like, uh, it happens to the best of us. I mean, it happens to big presidents and CEOs, CIOs, and all that. There are days like that. But at the end of the day, um, if I can somehow gather some strength and remember that we have especially when it's made to the public, especially when it's made to somebody uh, that matters, or some organization that matters to you, because nobody's judging anybody here. The COE is not about like, hey, this person didn't speak in great English or this person wasn't prepared. The very reason for forming this book club was not just to have communication about great books that we're reading, coming together. It's also about generating confidence, because there might be a person sitting somewhere and saying, hey, maybe the topic we chose was a topic about resilience and communication, whatnot. But look how Vaishnavi spoke. Look how, in spite of the fact that she had a terrible last month, or there's some things which she did not like. In spite of that, she came and delivered a topic. Maybe I can become like her. Maybe I can gather my thoughts, compile my thoughts together, and deliver something of value to people at large, and that will make me feel good. So at the end of the day, it's about feeling good. It's about coming together. So I thank you. I mean, I really thank you. Kudos to you for it's pretty easy sometimes to say, oh, sorry, let's reschedule. It's no big deal. It's just a WhatsApp group. Uh, Nothing's gonna happen. If I don't do this today, we can always reschedule. Oh, there are only 10 people or 12 people or 30 people. I don't even care whether the recording is heard by people or not. It's not about, and I keep telling people, it's not about the recording, it's not about YouTube, it's not about anything. It's about your personality, who you are as a person. And Vaishnavi, even if nobody else was there, you as a person, from day one, you have exhibited leadership, you've exhibited the uh, uh, because you don't come from an easy background either. Things were not handed to you uh, freely from day one. You did not have the best of resources. But how you've come up is an example to many, many people in the audience. And I wish that you leave your LinkedIn ID so that many people can know you. And when the recording goes out to many people who are just hoarding books, who are just they're just there just because they don't add any value to anybody, not to themselves, not to anybody else. They look at Vaishnavi and think, "Wow, I heard a girl. I probably did not even hear the full conversation she talked about, but I heard a line and I was inspired." If we have done just that, I think we have done a great service. Having said that, I would like to, hear some thoughts from other people. If anybody has any questions, comments, what they think about this, or there, we keep having these topics from time to time. So I would love for you guys to, suggest us topics which you want to discuss, or if there's a particular book that you want to talk about. Anything, guys? Joshi ji, Rahul Kumar ji, Saif Ali Sheikh, Sheikh Mohammed, Sri Lakshmi Vijay. Does anybody have any comments that they want to share either about the topic or the future topics that you want to talk about or anything else? You can talk to us in Hindi, you can talk to us in English, it's okay. Akriti, Prem, do you have anything from your end that
Now,
you
main
like
thing
to?
is how to managing the time. That is an important thing because while learning and how to manage our suppose I'm attending the interviews, I'm preparing for the interview.
Hmm.
So once we plan, as per that, it is not happening. So sometimes we'll feel very low. So that
Hmm.
time, how can we recover and to be enthusiastic, preparing and applying? So
Prem
can
Sai, what do you think about this? We'll have an open conversation because I can give an easy answer to this, but I would love to hear from what has been Vaishnavi's experience, what has been Prem Sai's experience, what has been. So Akriti or Prem Sai or Vaishnavi, do you have do you have an opinion about this question? Vaishnavi, you here?
Yeah. I'm here. I was hoping Prem Sai or Akriti would answer, but
Ah,
yeah.
when I think about interviews, I always think about the top 10 questions that somebody might ask me. Obviously, when it's an interview, some people ask us, tell me something about yourselves, your strength, weaknesses, your last project that you've done, what the challenges you face. These are the top five questions that are always there in any interview, right? Apart from that, obviously, there'll be some questions, some technical questions, there'll be some questions on the behavioral part, and we've done seminars on that. Having said that, the how do probably the question was related to how do you prepare, how do you budget your time. So first of all, I try to have a good knowledge about the subject matter. I understand the role very well. I understand the must have and nice to have of a particular job. I prepare the competency matrix. We have done some seminars on how to prepare a competency matrix based upon the must have and nice to have in a JD. Once I understand that, and once I've written against each bullet, that makes my job pretty easy. For example, if they say we want somebody with Power BI with 3 years of experience, we want somebody who has good visualization skills, we want somebody who has good attention to detail, we want somebody who has had good organization skills. I try to think through each line in the must have, each line in the nice to have, and um, and write down. I prepare an Excel sheet. On the left hand side, I have must have, nice to have. On the right hand side, I like to write down what have I done against each one of these things. When I do that and I'm prepared ahead of the actual interview day, it makes me feel confident, it makes me feel comfortable. At least from my end, I'm prepared like 80 to 90%. or even 100%, there still may be surprises later on. Uh, they might ask me questions either for which I'm not as qualified as the other candidate, or there might be some interesting new questions that might come up. But at least whatever was in my control, I have been able to uh, prepare myself. I think just this helps me a lot. Um, Budgeting
I
your
do have a
time.
question. I do have a question. Sorry to interrupt, but I
Go
don't
ahead.
want to skip the topic. Okay, when
Yeah.
you say budgeting time and preparing early on, as far as my experience goes, I've always been informed about the interviews 1 or 2 days before. Like it would be scheduled the day after the following. So when you're a working professional, you will barely have 4 hours, and those 4 hours you'd also have to spend for dinner or getting ready for studying or anything. So let's say you have 3 hours after you reach home and you're so tired. How do you
Right.
plan all this? How does it work for working professionals that are working
Because
from office, returning, traveling, and all that?
understood. Because I'm not going to be waiting for the last 2 days. Let's say I'm applying for a job, and suddenly somebody says you have an interview day after. Now, it's not the first time I'll prepare for interview during that time. I'll probably have been preparing all along. So when I know that I'm looking for a job and I'm applying for a job, typically everybody gets a little bit time before you apply for a job. So I would have prepared the top 10 questions that I'm likely to be asked anyways. I mean, the simplest of the questions are: tell me something about yourself, talk to me about your most recent project, talk to me about your strengths and weaknesses, talk to me about these typical soft skills. The only part I guess you have to prepare uh, is the technical questions. So I don't think that, it's like when you're studying in the 11th standard or the 12th standard or the 10th standard, you're not preparing at the, just before the exam. It's not the first time you should be preparing. You should have been preparing all along. So imagine that before you apply for a job in the next 10 days, if you are doing one question every day, only one or two questions every day, by the end of 1 week, you would have done 14 most asked questions. So I guess, I mean, that's how it helps. And even if you don't get to the first interview, you always have something else coming up. You will learn something new. So I always write down what the questions I've been asked in the prior interviews. It's never the I mean, if somebody tells me you have an interview day after tomorrow, I know that I've been preparing for more time than just the 2 days I've got right now. Am I making sense, guys?
Yeah,
Yes.
that is very well said. That really does make sense. And what I'm getting out of that is before you apply for a job, even you can keep a check on those interview questions. Just read for 5 minutes what the popular questions are, and maybe form an answer. And when you have the time, just scroll websites and read upon it, so that you're not
Absolutely.
taken by surprise when those questions come up.
Right. In addition, for in my personal life, whatever interviews I've had, and sometimes I got only 1 hour. Sometimes I've been told that oh my God, we have a position. Are you ready in half an hour? And I usually said yes, because I've been preparing all along with mentors. I've been taking mock sessions with people. I think mock sessions with a friend or a mentor who's senior to you, that is very, very helpful. Like Vaishnavi, you were pointing out that you're friends with somebody who was 10 years elder to you, and you're
Oh, that's
learning
Ruby. That's
something.
Ruby.
Oh yeah. So those are the people that, there are many people like that who are ahead of you, either in age or they're in the same profession. And there's always a nugget here and there that you learn from them. Um, so mock sessions with mentors are very, 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 very important. apart from, of course, the websites, the resources that you get. So you have to be preparing all along, not on the last day or the last 2 days. You have to have an optimized resume in LinkedIn. You should have your narrative and your story right ahead of time, not in the last minute. That's how you make time for it. I hope I answered the gentleman's question. Are there any other questions that come to your mind, guys? You can ask about anything. I mean, I know the topic is about resilience and expectations and all that, but feel free to ask about any topic. But this is our time as a group. This is our time to ask in a friendly manner whatever questions come to your head.
I have a question for Prem actually. Is he here?
Oh, Prem, let's catch him. Yeah. Okay, Prem, hi, you're here? Yeah, he's there. I can see him as our own mentor.
Yep.
Yeah, so I saw your LinkedIn URL being customized as Frame Data Analyst, which was impressive, which is like branding and everything. But I have two questions. One is because it's a URL, it's kind of you cannot change it every so often you want it. So my first question is, why do you want to be known as data analyst? Because when you put that in your URL, you associate yourself with that tag. And is that the tag that you actually want to have, and why? And my second question is, does would you change that tag or the URL when you move job titles? Maybe 5 years from now, you'll be having a different job title, maybe completely different from the functions and responsibilities that you currently have. So what will you do then? Do you change it? Because if you change it, you'd have to change it in many places because you have it linked in many places. So those are my
Mhm.
questions.
To answer your question, so to answer the first question, yes, I customized my URL for like Prem Data Analyst because like when I was searching for a job, when I was aspiring for the data analyst role, so I wanted to like keep myself in the loop and keep myself like at the top of the list when someone searches for a data analyst or like or anyone would like to recruit a data analyst. So it also gives me a add-on to be in the top list if someone is currently searching for a data analyst role. And the second thing, as
Yeah.
of my role, I'm currently working as a data analyst, and also my skills which I have equipped for myself is also related to the data analysis domain. So to answer the second question, so yes, like when I would like equip myself with or upskill myself with some other tools or skills such as Azure or like any other major roles or any other major skills, then I would definitely change my URL so that like I could uh, be on the list or like on the top priority or like would like to keep myself at the top priority if someone is currently hiring for the kind of role which I am currently looking for.
As I know about Prem Vaishnavi, Prem is not only see Prem has been wearing multiple hats. He has a great business background where he worked as a cluster manager. He also is a successful data analyst, which is his current role. But he also has talent in many other areas. He has talent in data engineering. He understands the nuances of ADF, Azure Databricks, but he's practicing that to refine his skills from time to time. So obviously, his current focus is he's absolutely focused on the data analysis skills. But I know he has business skills. He has a range of skills. He has data engineering skills as well. So tomorrow, if his organization decides that they want to, utilize his range of skills, obviously he'll be making some changes. It's pretty easy to change a URL later on. So as and when that happens, as and when he's prepared or he believes his organization is prepared, they can take advantage and utilize the skills. So obviously he's gonna feel like changing a URL. It's a 2 minutes job, right?
Yeah,
Yes.
it's
Back to you, Vaishnavi.
easy like for anyone.
Prem is a storehouse house of skills. I mean, he has language skills. I mean, which are excellent. So he's a talent source house.
Yeah, that's what I wanted to know. Thank you, Prem. Thank you, Arun.
You know, when Prem, you'll be surprised to know that as young when he was still younger, Prem's parents have been into teaching and other things. So even when he was in school or he was in college, he has always been teaching and mentoring younger students, and a lot of times he does it for no money at all. So he's been doing a lot of great activities. So who knows, 100 years down the line, oh, sorry, 50, I'm saying 100, maybe 50 years down the line, he wants to convert himself into a teacher. And even there, he has skills of, being a great teacher. He and I will be sitting in our old age in a school and mentoring people from 10th standard or 6th standard or 7th standard, teaching them mathematics or English or whatever. So that, yeah, so that URL thing is just a temporary thing. It can be changed whenever needed, as when required.
Got it. Yeah.
All right, who else has questions, guys? Come on, speak up. That's what the meeting is, that everybody gets a chance to speak up, ask questions, discuss a topic, discuss a book, uh, share something good about the book club. And we have done these meetings in many styles. To have perfect English, we don't have to have perfect Hindi. It's about anybody at any level of confidence can speak up. Anyone? Joshi, Ravi, Sheikh Mohammed? We have the way she carried herself in a meeting, because I learned a lot. If I was going to an interview, if I was appearing in front of an audience, if all that you learn from Vaishnavi is how to prepare yourself for a seminar, even when you have not been having the best of the day, even if you're not in the best of moods, or you had some event which is not so great, even then, the the best, what Vaishnavi has shown us today is showing up is the best thing. You have to show up sometimes. Show up for camaraderie. Show up for the commitment that you had. Show up for something, because we all of us, we are not going to find the perfect moment. We we are we are uh, um, we may not have the everything going out great for us, but sometimes we do it for commitment, some camaraderie, or whatever else that's important to you. So I thank Vaishnavi a lot for doing that. She has shown leadership qualities yet again. She's a very talented leader at a very young age, and I mean, I have no words. I mean, I just wish her all the best, and we COE will always stand behind such leaders. Guys, I'll give you a minute to add any comments if you have, or any questions if you have, whatever you want to say, after which we'll wrap up today's meeting and we'll see you again. I think we have many other sessions lined up. We have Ellen's meeting coming up on a good topic. It'll also be live on YouTube. So we'll keep, if you are not a member, if you're not subscribed to our YouTube channel, please subscribe to it, because we'll be posting a lot of things that we did last year. We'll be posting a lot of interesting perspectives on a variety of technologies like Alteryx, Power BI, Excel, um, finance. We've had many leaders in the COE who have spoken about many great topics, and we earlier decided not to be on YouTube, because But then later on, we revisited the decision. We said, okay, we'll give a chance to people instead of it being stored in the G drive or elsewhere. We'll give a chance to people to learn things for free, and we'll keep conducting pro bono webinars to help people. We did one on LinkedIn optimization, resume optimization, which is a must see. You must go to our YouTube channel and watch those. So, guys, you have a minute in case you want to say anything. Otherwise, we'll wrap up for today. Anyone?
I want to add on one thing for Vaishnavi. She's a very good speaker.
Of
Thank you.
course.
That's really sweet. Thank you. Thank you, Arun. Thank you, Akriti. This is the kind of validation I was looking for all
You know,
week.
and I would say that, guys, Akriti, if you find Vaishnavi's interview that she did with us in the past, she's done one with us in the past. I think it's a great idea to upload it on YouTube if Vaishnavi is okay with it, because I want a lot of people to get inspired in spite of everything that can go against you. You can come up in life, regardless of who you are, where you come from. You come from a rich family, a poor family. You come from a place where you know great English, no English. Everything is fine, guys. You have to do something to. You have to move your legs and hands to make it work for you. And of course, if you're blessed by, in Vaishnavi's case, I mean, I said, I think I said in the last interview, I'm so impressed by his support of her dad and few family members. It's a blessing. It's a blessing. Whenever I feel a little sad, a little like, oh my God, today sucked. I always remember something, anything. I remember one thing for which I'm grateful for, to God or to my friend or to my somebody that I love. I always have gratitude in my mind, and that takes me, that makes me survive, live through the day, and look forward to the next day. Every day is a new day, guys. You can think so. I think the message that I think Vaishnavi gave, or Kriti is trying to give, or Prem Sai is saying, is is basically, regardless of what happens, you always have to gather strength and move forward in one way or the other. Some days you might be slow, some days you might have to take two steps back, one step forward, and three steps back. Even then, if you're, inch by inch, we'll all make progress together. Okay. So don't lose heart, keep moving. So have a bright day, guys. If nobody has any other comments, we will like to wrap up this meeting for today, and we will meet you again soon, maybe monthly, maybe bi-weekly. It's all up to our leader, Vaishnavi, to decide, and she'll be back.
Yeah. In India
Anyone, guys?
today, we are worshipping the Vaishnavi.
Yeah. Oh, ha ha ha. I see what you're saying. So the Durga thing, you're worshipping Vaishnavi?
Yes, today's third day.
Ah, yeah. The third day of Vaishnavi, this is a great thing that I heard from Joshi. Huh?
Yeah,
He's
yeah. I'll
saying,
remember this. I'll definitely remember. This is like this
I'm
made my
amazed.
day. Thank you.
Yeah, I'm amazed how it's saying, like, you're almost like, I mean, and truthfully, you're like one of the forms of Devi herself, where you're exhibiting the quality of Vaishnavi. Yesterday, I think we had Shailputri, if I'm not wrong. So every day it's an embodiment of a new form of Devi, and I feel it's a very nice comment to see you in that aura, even though you've not been feeling great lately, but look at the comments coming from people. Thank you so
Yeah,
much.
thank
Yeah,
you. Thank you so much, everyone. Thank you for being here. Thank you for sharing everything. Thank
thank
you
you,
so
Sri
much.
Lakshmi. All right. Thank you, Vaishnavi. We'll see each other next time in Ellen's meeting, hopefully. If not, all right. Prem Sai, let's wrap it up. Please stop the recording.